Hi, we're here with Fletcher Henderson of Winery at LaGrange. He's one of the principals. Fletcher, thanks for having us over to your winery.
Well, you're welcome, and I'm glad that we had the nice weather for you to enjoy this property today.
You ordered it up right for us, right?
Exactly, exactly.
Fletcher, why don't you give us a bit of the history of winemaking in Virginia?
Well, believe it or not, the history of winemaking in Virginia goes back 400 years. Yeah, I know. I didn't say quality wines were produced 400 years, but the history of attempts started with the Jamestown settlement, and we're celebrating the 400th anniversary of that settlement this year. The landowners at Jamestown were mandated by law to plant wine vines to produce grapes that would be made into wine. They failed miserably because of the weather conditions we have here being so different from Europe, where the grapevines originated from, and they didn't know how to work with the climate and the terroir here. The second historical person of note would be Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson, as the ambassador to France for the United States, fell in love with wine, and he was convinced that Virginia could be a world-class viticulture area. He brought vines back, and he tried in vain, unfortunately, to grow wine grapes. He never had a harvest because of the disease pressure, and again, Virginia is a wet, humid climate, and it's difficult to grow quality grapes here.
We have high disease pressures here. In this temperate zone here, where you'll get harsh enough winters to have winter issues in your vineyard if your vines aren't hardy enough. And then with the hot humidity that we have in the summer, there is always disease pressure. So you have to be constantly monitoring disease pressures in your vineyard and spraying a lot more. So that in turn puts more cost into taking care of your vineyard here in Virginia.
Is there a defining stylistic type of wine that you make in Virginia? How would you describe the Bordeaux varietals? Are they more Eurocentric, or are they just Virginia?
Well, I would have to say they're just Virginia, of course, first and foremost. It's interesting to me that I place us the same as the geography does. We're between the west coast of the United States and Europe itself. We don't have the sunshine hours that the West Coast has in California, Oregon, Washington. We don't have the extreme weather that Europe has. We're in between. We certainly have warm days and a sufficient amount of sunshine for maturation of the grapes. But I would have to characterize our style between the traditional old world style and new world fruit forward, that we're within the dimension of fruit forward, new world style, leaning towards Eurocentric. We have success, and we know that regardless of the vintage variations of weather, year after year we can produce quality Chardonnay, we can produce quality Viognier, and we can produce quality Cab Franc. There are a couple of other grapes that are showing potential. Riesling is showing potential. We've had some very good vintages of Riesling and Petit Verdot, believe it or not.
Our white grapes, the Chardonnay and Rieslings done in Virginia, might lend themselves to be a little closer maybe to what's done in the Finger Lakes region in New York. As far as reds, we're our own on the East Coast. You get south of us, North Carolina, and the Yadkin Valley, they can do somewhat similar to us, but we're farther advanced in the viticulture and the winemaking here in Virginia than anywhere else on the East Coast outside of New York State. So we're our own. We have our own climate here. Everything's a little bit different here. It's really hard to compare us to anywhere else, and I would not compare us to anywhere else on the West Coast.
Virginia is producing thanks to a woman named Jenny McLeod. Jenny McLeod brought in some Spanish varietals, Tempranillo, Graziano, Albarino, are planted in Virginia and doing well so far. I have my fingers crossed.
In the beginning of May, our wines are going over to London. Our 68 wines from 33 different Virginia wineries were selected to go over to the Virginia Wine Experience that's going to be held over in London. And we're hoping that if we can get the Virginians and people in the United States to give us our due credit for making world-class wine, we're hoping that the English will find out how good our wines are, and maybe that's our springboard to get us into more of a worldly national picture of making quality wine. So I think it's going to happen.
Hi, we're in the tasting room at LaGrange Winery in Haymarket, Virginia. I've got Holly here on my right, and Jay.
And I have Lilia.
That's right. Hello.
I've never been on this side of the counter. It's kind of fun.
I'd rather be on the other side, so let's put it that way. But I'm a pour here at LaGrange, and I'm actually local, so it's so nice that we finally have a winery in Haymarket, Virginia. And here we have Holly. She is new to the winery industry. She's our first-time visitor.
So you're a virgin.
I am. Wine taster.
So now, how did you decide how much to pour?
Honestly, you don't want to do more than 2 sips. That's just our kind of rule of thumb, since there is so many wines that we do taste out. But you just learn. The wrist knows after a while.
And now, Holly, since she only poured you that much, do you feel cheated at all? Like that she didn't give you enough wine?
No, I don't feel cheated at all. If I like it, I'm sure I could ask for more. If I don't like it, I have this handy little bucket right there that I can pour it into.
Perfect.
Now, do you look at each customer and kind of figure out, I don't know, try to figure out if they're a wine geek or new, or what do you do?
You can tell. You can tell. Those that spit in the perfect line, like extreme pros. We don't have many spitters. So, I mean, a lot of people in this area are definitely new to the wine industry. Of course, they want to enjoy the winery, enjoy our wines, and consume as much as possible.
You use their spitting technique
Yes.
as the measure of...
That's my gauge. Sorry, that's my gauge.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Do you typically ask people, what did you think? And
Yeah, it really depends. I'm not supposed to personally put too much out on the table in regards to my opinion. Like, I don't really feel like I should do that just because everybody's different. The best wine is the wine that you like.
well, thank you both very much.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for visiting us in Virginia.